two teenage cousins pull from the Bronx River.
One of them was killed. The other is fighting to survive at Montefiore Medical Center.
The family of that 13-year-old boy has remained by his side as he continues fighting for his life this morning. This all began as a fun afternoon swim that simply took a tragic turn. Police and fire crews responded to a call of two missing swimmers.
Witnesses tell us the two boys were not strong swimmers and another teen may have tried to save them.
The school dismissed early. They were excited because it was the last day of school for them. And they went down with some classmates into the park. And while they were there, it got very hot. And they decided to go in for a dip into the river. The cousins swam over to help them. And at that point, the panic set in. And when the panic set in, from there it was just a tragedy that occurred because then both kids drowned in that water.
I think money does have to be put into this because this is a problem we see every single year in the city. I don't think African Americans for a very long time, or minorities in general, looked at swimming other than a luxury, not a necessity. And I think now that's starting to switch, where they're now seeing it as a necessity. And I think that's making a huge difference.
Typically what will happen is somebody in the family had an accident around the water or a trauma around the water where either a family member was lost to drowning or there was a near drowning incident of the individual. And therefore, another family member says, we're going to prevent this, we're not going to let our children near the water.
You have to be extremely patient. You almost have to put yourself in their position. You really have to listen to them. You can't come in with this, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You can't do that. You have to really see what their starting point is, and you have to really work from where they are, not where you think your lessons should begin. It's a very important factor, which I think why a lot of people can't teach people that have a fear of water.
I was trying to swim I remember it. I was trying to swim to the bar where you get to sit down, but then I panicked and then I started to drown.
I have talked to many people and they have said, well, my mother didn't let me learn how to swim because she said, I don't know how to swim and I can't come and save you and you will drown. So that instills such a fear, like, I can't go near the water, I'm gonna drown. They automatically get that in their head. So that gets passed down from generation to generation to generation, because if the first person doesn't know how to swim, the child doesn't know how to swim, that child grows up to be an adult, has children, their children don't know how to swim. So that's how it kind of starts.
With the first generation, usually like the parents don't want their kids to go in the water because they're scared because they can't save them. I know people that are like that too. Like my friend, she knows how to swim. Her mother doesn't know how to swim, but when her mother will be like, listen, you go out there, you gotta save yourself because I can't go out there to get you.
In places that I'm always amazed about, like the Caribbean, for example, which has such beautiful, warm, welcoming water, in those communities, it's cultural also. The only people that swim are the ones that do business around the water. It's not that you would, even though you have it at your backyard and at your beck and call, you don't go to the water.
And I know people who think they know because they'll swim to the 5 feet, a little bit in the 6 feet. But if they go somewhere that's 8 feet or 10 feet, they'll drown.
On average, most people that say they know how to swim, at least half of them don't.
You need to be able to jump into water over your head and come back to the surface. You need to be able to float or tread water for at least a minute, swim at least 25 yards so that you can reach that exit point, and then get out of the water. If in a pool, you should be able to get out of the water without using a ladder.
Well, swimming is a life skill, and unfortunately it's something that kids in big cities don't get as much, but it's important. You're around water all the time.
I lived in Brooklyn, central part in the middle of Brooklyn, where there was actually no pools. It wasn't something that we focused on. Even the neighborhood Y didn't have a pool, so it wasn't part of the program, and we just wasn't something that we were focused on and interested in our community. When I was younger myself, we go to the beach. My dad could swim like a fish. He'd go out, but And I'd stay by the shore. I'm like, nah, no thank you. Or, I'd go close to the water, and when it gets past my knees, I'd back up. Just didn't have that confidence. I knew it was dangerous.
We discovered over time in talking to the family members that lack of swimming skills actually was generational. And so in order to break that cycle, we invited adults into the pool as well. And so now we work with 3 to 5-year-olds with their parents up through people in their 80s who are learning to swim now. So it's never, never too late to learn how to swim.
I went down to the director of the program, Sean Slevin, and I asked if she taught adults. She said, sure, you're welcome. And I came, and I've been here 5-6 years now.
If we just do the right thing with kids, adults, and getting people to learn how to swim, we could absolutely change the drowning rates tremendously.